As the world's strongest man, it's quite easy for me to work out. But getting in daily cardio is something that all strongmen struggle with.
It's been shown that people who weigh over 300 pounds have a life expectancy of only 71 years.
So I've decided to do something about that. I'm the strongest man on earth, and I'm gonna run 1 kilometer a day for 30 days. Wish me luck.
You heard that right. I'm gonna be running 1 kilometer a day for the next 30 days. Now this is sort of a pathetic fitness challenge, but let me give you context first. In strongman, we really don't do any sort of aerobic work in a high intensity sense. And when we do, it's usually our 90-second or 120-second competition specific preparation. What I'm looking to do here is show you that you can put a little bit of work into something that you don't do that much, get a really positive result from that, and not have it impact you too much otherwise. To show you this, we're gonna be tracking body weight, my heart rate recovery as an indication of my improved fitness, my run time, and my predicted VO2 max. Over this 30 days, it's not an off season for me. I'm gonna have a competition in Birmingham, England. I'll have a competition in Vegas, and I'll have a competition in Scotland. And yes, every day means every day.
5:16, day 1. It's not aerobic fitness to be proud of. It's good in our field, but I want to get this back to a decent level. Day 2, done and dusted.
It is 9 o'clock, day number 5.
Day 7, time 5:05. Day 9. I'm at the point where I'm not dreading it anymore, and I feel like I have the base. Just sort of cruise along. Just wrapped, 4:17. That's a personal best.
Post Giants Live victory, 1 kilometer.
My running was going well, and I was a couple of weeks into running 1 kilometer every single day. I was in Huntington Beach doing my run around a gym out there.
In Huntington Beach for a CrossFit event. I don't know what day it is, but we're still running 1 kilometer every day. Finished up a deadlift and squat session. And we're gonna go easy pace today because we got some friends joining us.
And I felt one calf pull at me a little bit. I thought, that's okay. I'm gonna keep going. I've committed to this. And I felt my other calf pull at me. So I stopped at around 850 meters.
Things aren't looking so hot with my calf. I can't walk normally at the moment. Social media won't know about this because they don't need to, and I'm gonna turn up and do my thing anyway.
I gave myself 10, 15 minutes, and it got to the point where I couldn't walk well. I couldn't bend my ankles. I had to walk duck foot without pushing off my toes. And I realized with 5 days into my next competition, I tore not one, but both of my calves. I couldn't walk for 3 days. I flew to Las Vegas and I had to take a hiatus from my running as not to make my calves worse before competing. And I might have had my calves at 80% by the time that the show came around, just to the point where I could walk without wincing in pain and without the other competitors saying that I wasn't 100%. I nearly pulled 505 kilos, a new deadlift world record. I nearly broke the car walk world record. I was 0.4 of a second off with a torn calf. After a 7-day hiatus, I'm right back into it.
I'm gonna try and send it today. Trying to hit a new personal best on the treadmill after a great pressing session. 1 kilometer, 4:55. Not that difficult. It's paying off huge in so many ways. I feel lighter on my feet. I feel fitter. I feel like I can be out of breath and not be panicked. Also, this is gonna help with competition a lot. Gross day outside today. Day number 18. Doing my best. It's sort of becoming second nature at this stage. It just sort of is what it is. It's not that hard. But getting faster, getting fitter. This video is brought to you by Ketone IQ. Now, ketones are well used for people in the endurance space, but they're underappreciated in the strength space. Your brain only has two fuel sources, glucose or ketones, and when you're glucose depleted in your training sessions, you can rely on ketones to keep your mental fog at bay and be able to get back to work and get through a full training session while working hard in this little bottle. Go ahead, check out the link below and get your ketones now.
Day 24. Getting fitter. I'm actually feeling really good. And frankly, my knees feel better, my hips feel better, my back feels better. I just feel healthier. It has to be systemic inflammation related.
Just for the record, I'm still doing all of my strongman training. I have the Rogue Invitational coming up, the highest paying show of the year, and I can't let that one slip either.
"25 days through the challenge, and I'm definitely of split minds in terms of how I believe this is going. On one hand, my recovery is improving. I can run faster, further. I'm more comfortable. Going upstairs, I'm more comfortable. In longer sets and medleys when I'm training, it's so much easier. But on the other hand, I never want to go for my run. I always want to put it off. I never enjoy going out and running, even if it's only 4.5 to 6 minutes or so. I know there's going to be a lot of strongmen watching this who are inspired to start, and I 100% encourage you to do that, but you should do it in a little bit more of a built-up type of way. But for now, I've got 5 days left to go. We're going to hit the pavement and finish the challenge as strong as I possibly can."
Day 25. Gonna crush another run. Wish me luck.
The amount of force that you put through your calves when you're running is substantial. And that's almost always my limiting factor on my speed. It's not really my lungs and my heart anymore. It's how much can my calves take in terms of speed and force and rebound until they start to give out.
Day 28. This is easy now. We're almost done the challenge, but it's made me feel really good. So I don't really see a reason to stop it. I think one of my big advantages in strength sports is my fitness and ability to recover. And this has only made it better. So, a few days left. But we're on the right track.
Final day, over the moon. Let's go. "30 days. Done and dusted. Let's head inside. We'll talk about the results."
30 days running, 1 kilometer a day, done and dusted. This might be the most pathetic challenge of all time. But if you're in strongman and you know anyone who's 300 plus pounds, it's harder than you think. I'm proud of myself for committing to it. I committed to it throughout multiple strongman shows, and I won every single one of them. Of course, it's not purely because of running. Runners aren't good strongman, but it is partially because my improved capacity and aerobic fitness has helped me. Now, I want to share with you a little bit of research before I go through the final results. This is what really piqued my interest in doing this challenge in the first place. And this study is called The Relationship Between Aerobic Fitness and Recovery from High Intensity Intermittent Exercise. Now, high intensity intermittent exercise could be sprinting, but it can also be resistance training. The physiological processes by which to sprint are very similar to the physiological processes to lift heavy. In the end, sprinting is just power expression for a short period of time, and heavy resistance training is strength expression through a short period of time. You're relying on very similar mechanisms physiologically. You're just thinking about slightly different muscle fiber tissues. Now, in this study, it's really, really nicely summarized here. It says, quote, "The literature suggests that aerobic fitness enhances recovery from high-intensity intermittent exercise through increased aerobic response, improved lactate removal, and enhanced phosphocreatine regeneration." I'll go through each of these individually. Increased aerobic response means that when you operate at a certain level of output, everyone becomes anaerobic, no matter how low that output is. But over time, you increase your aerobic output to be able to match that anaerobic output. Now, anaerobic output is when you are exercising either abruptly or at too high of an intensity for your aerobic system to keep up. This means that we're relying on anaerobic sources of energy, and the byproduct of this is lactate and hydrogen ions, and this is why you feel a muscle burn. This is why you start to lose the ability to do what you did before. This is where a set of 5 becomes impossible if you try to do a 6th rep. Improved lactate removal is going to be doubly helpful. One, within a set, if you can get some of that lactate out and you're trying to do a set of 12, well, at 8, you're not going to feel like you're dying, and you're not going to have near as much fatigue on the back end. The second thing is, some people believe that metabolic buildup of metabolites contributes to muscle damage. And whether it's a cause or an effect, if you can remove the lactate and the associated hydrogen ions, it is going to be less harmful over time to your body. And if you don't cause as much harm and damage while you're training, your ability to recover and train harder is going to be really good. The last one is the most exciting one when it comes to strength athletes. Enhanced phosphocreatine regeneration. In the first 5 seconds of any form of exercise, creatine is your fuel source. You need to be having supplementary creatine in order to get the most from yourself when it comes to strength training. Now, creatine is very useful because you just attach a phosphate molecule to the creatine, you crack that off to turn ADP back into ATP, and that is the fastest energy source for your body. We only have about 1 second of ATP energy stores in our muscle. Then you have to rely on creatine for the next few seconds. So if you're in a grindy 1 rep max, you can't even purely rely on ATP. You need phosphocreatine to assist. Now, when phosphocreatine regenerates, that means we get the phosphate molecule back on. It's ready to donate that to ADP to turn into ATP for energy production. And if we can improve that regeneration, we're talking about doing that between reps. We're talking about doing that between sets. Regardless if we're talking about 1 set, 1 workout, 1 week of workout, increasing your phosphocreatine regeneration is an absolute hack to muscular endurance at any level. The endurance for more singles, the endurance for a 10 rep set, the endurance for multiple days working out in a row. Let's talk about the results. I wasn't willing to do something that was going to impede my strength. 5 minutes of running a day is not going to impede your strength. It didn't hurt mine. It won't hurt yours. Now, my VO2 max started at 31.1, and this was calculated based on a finishing time of 1 kilometer in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. By the end, the 31.1, which is categorized at poor, became a VO2 max of 40. And this put me in the average category. Now, average aerobic fitness for someone over 300 pounds is very difficult. Remember, they measure VO2 max relative to your body weight. And having average VO2 max is actually an extremely high level of fitness for a strongman. If we do the math on this, this is a 27% increase in aerobic fitness. This is not like strength. You don't have to slowly build this. You can get it very quickly. One of the fastest adaptations to early interventions in aerobic training is an increase in blood volume. This means that when your heart is relaxed and blood is pouring into it, it's going to expand more and more. And just like every other muscle, it says a stretch shorten cycle. So it's going to stretch the heart out more, it's going to contract harder, and now your heart can circulate the blood easier around your body. This is why fit people have a lower resting heart rate. My 1 minute heart rate recovery was another metric that we tracked throughout this journey, and it went from 27 all the way up to 43 at its best. Now, this is partially dependent on arousal state, on temperature, on many different factors, but my 1 minute heart rate recovery was substantially better at the end of the challenge than before. If we think about strongman, we think about strongman events, you can rest for 30 seconds between reps if need be. In those 30 seconds, some people, their heart rate might not drop at all. But now I know for me, my heart rate's going to recover somewhere around 15 to 20 beats per minute. And that's going to be a much more comfortable place to be able to do another rep on a log or another rep on a power stair, on and on and on. It's going to be tremendously helpful. Now, those were my results from 5 minutes of intentional effort over a span of 30 days. We talk so much about the law of diminishing returns when it comes to how much more strength training can we do, but we give very little credence to the law of diminishing returns when it comes to starting something that you don't normally do and doing a very small bit of it. Frankly, the first little bit you can do of something is going to give you the highest return per unit of effort than anything else. And if you can translate that really big return of a small unit of effort into your primary goal, that is the name of the game. Let me know what you thought of this video. Pop it in the comments. We post every single day, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and as per usual, lift heavy and be kind.